Alright, so the Eritrean Civil Wars, we need some background though, so let's go. So in 1952, Eritrea was federated with Ethiopia under great domestic controversy. Throughout the federation, the autonomy of Eritrea was wilted away until it was no longer legal to teach in all of Eritrean tongues or language, with increasing divisiveness being sown in by the local press between Christians and Muslims and the two Orthodox Jews in Ethiopia. The ELF was formed in Cairo, Egypt by a number of Eritrean Muslim intellectuals in 1960, and the ELF stands for the Eritrean Liberation Front. Now, this organization was socialist in nature, however, attracted mostly Muslim fighters in the early 1960s. By the late 1960s, the frustration with the dissolution of the Federation had pushed Eritrean Christians to join the fight for independence, and the outright annexation of Eritrea into Ethiopia as well. Integration of Christian fighters under Muslim commanders did not go well though, and the regional emphasis of the ELF caused friction between the old guard and the new radical students of Marxism-Leninism. This friction led to the separation of parts of the ELF from the ELF command, sparking a military conflict. In the words of the ELF command, the purpose of the conflict was to assert the continuation of the revolution through the liquidation of counter-revolution. But anyway, First Civil War time. The First Civil War was fought by the ELF against the nascent organizations of the Popular Liberation Forces that were formed under the command of the ELF and the Obel Group. Fighting began in February 1972 and spread through the lowlands, particularly in the Red Sea coast. Eventually, this conflict spread further into the highlands or the hinterlands until in October 1974, calls for the conflict to start were finally heated after the Battle of Woki left 600 fighters dead. And I know 600 people just died, but I can't help it, sorry. Plus it's like the 70s Star Wars anyway. These calls for peace came from local villagers at the time when the independence movement was close to victory over Ethiopia. The ELF and the EPLF, or the Eritrean People's Liberation Front or Force, negotiated an agreement at Kozan in January 1975, in which they agreed to fight the Ethiopian government together, which was imperialist but soon be communist back. Actually, I think communist back already. There were around 3,000 casualties from this civil war, more than the Eritreans had lost fighting the government for 13 years up to this point. So that's almost a death per day. But anyway, math class is over, Second Civil War time. The Second Civil War was executed by the EPLF against the ELF in a bid to protect the flanks of the front under tremendous pressure from a resurgent Ethiopia, which was now USS Arabic. In 1980, the ELF had entered into a secret negotiation with the Soviet Union to end the war. Furthermore, on defense of the Sahel stronghold of the EPLF, ELF forces withdrew from the lines in August of the same year. This created tremendous friction between the fronts, which eventually led to the resumption of the conflict or the Second Civil War. By this point, though, the ELF had been drained during the Ethiopian resurgence after Soviet assistance was leveraged, and were eventually defeated by the EPLF forces in 1981. Sorry, comrade, but that's important, but good luck with socialism. The TPLF, or the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, also assisted in driving out the ELF out of Eritrea. They were eventually pushed across the border into Sudan, where pretty much stay today. Sorry. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something. And besides the goofy Wookiee call, a lot of people died during this civil war, inside of a civil war, inside of a war for independence, within a Cold War struggle in the Horn of Africa. So with that being said, the Cold War goes hard, and respect those who died for the freedoms you have today. Except if you live in Eritrea, which is considered the North Korea of Africa. But sometimes you gotta break a couple of omelets to make a couple of eggs, but most of the eggs are rotten, so you get a rotten omelet, I guess, but freedom at what cost, huh? Anyway, politics aside, which the whole video was about politics, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and bye-bye. Oh yeah, learn something for sure, yeah, learn something, that's what I meant to say.